3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? So it was announced this past weekend that the WWE Draft is coming up, and I believe, let me check the dates on it so I'm not wrong here. Next Friday night, October the 9th, on SmackDown on Fox. And Matt, you got your answer there.
All right.
Going with the Wonderstruck. So Lou, thanks for picking for Matt. I switched over to
It's a good one.
a little light action. Friday night, October 9th, on SmackDown, and then continuing Monday, October the 12th, on Monday Night Raw. So, to the best of our knowledge, it seems like it is just Raw and SmackDown superstars that are involved. So, first part of the question, Matt, we'll start with you, then we'll go to intern Mark. And to the listeners, should NXT, which we've been told, and as we've seen on Survivor Series and Royal Rumbles and things like that, should NXT be involved in the draft?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially given what NXT is supposed to be in terms of like the developmental part of WWE. You know, we always talk about the call-ups. So if you're having a draft, you would think that that roster would be instrumental in the growth and the future of either of the brands.
How about you, Mark? Uh-oh. Mark, you with us? You frozen up on us, intern Mark? He looks frozen. Uh-oh. Womp, womp, womp.
We got the spinning wheel of death. Oh, he's back. He's back.
I can hear you.
Mark, should the
spinning wheel of death.
Should NXT be involved in the draft?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's like this. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, I'm back again. I had the spinning wheel of death, but I can hear you and I can see you.
Good.
All right.
Okay. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, so the.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was saying, I think I think NXT should be involved. I think WWE recently has been doing a pretty good job of keeping the brands separate, so it actually feels special when you have a draft. So I hope that continues. And NXT definitely should be part of it. And I would like to see Raw or SmackDown superstars potentially being transferred or drafted down to NXT, not down to, but over to NXT as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thought I had to it as well. Is you know, whether or not people people agree or disagree, or they have, mixed opinions on, whether or not WWE really views themselves as in a rating war with AEW or not. Like, that they want to have higher ratings than their competition on a Wednesday night. So when you have this opportunity, you've already told us via Survivor Series and on Royal Rumble and things like that and various times throughout the year, that NXT is part of the company, that they're not just developmental. They're not just a territory. They are, they are part of the company. So why not have them be involved in the draft and have the Undisputed Era come up to go to Monday Night Raw, or Io Shirai go to SmackDown, or have AJ Styles go to NXT. and stuff like that. So I absolutely think that that NXT should be a part of the draft. But also, and this is one thought I had. Lou says, who gets drafted to Raw Underground? Brawny Strowman. I think Braun Strowman fits the absolute best he's ever fit anywhere. When he's been on Raw Underground here as of late. But who are not necessarily one, but some of the superstars that you would like to see move in this draft, and where would you like to see them go? And even we can even fantasy book a little bit, even though they're not officially part of the draft. And if you would like to see somebody go to NXT from either Raw or SmackDown, who would you like to see move? And I think for me, the first one that comes to mind, and I know he just went over to SmackDown, in the last couple of months, is AJ Styles going back to Monday Night Raw. For one, I feel like Monday Night Raw really is kind of lacking in star power. I know you have Orton, I know you have McIntyre, but it doesn't, on a 3-hour show. And this is always why when you did the initial draft and things like that, like Raw always gets more picks. Like they always get like 3 picks to SmackDown's 2, because you have 3 hours. So I feel like you need to have more star power on Raw than you do on SmackDown. So I would like to see AJ Styles move to Monday Night Raw. Devin, do you mean Kevin Owens to Raw? Because I think he is on SmackDown now. So you think you would want him to move to Raw? Matt, how about you? Any superstars off the top of your head you'd want to see move?
I mean, Owens is still on Raw, isn't he?
I thought he's on SmackDown, because I think he has the KO show tomorrow night with Alexa Bliss. Let me look it up here quick. He is Kevin Owens. Oh, it says it on his Wikipedia. It says he's
on Wikipedia. It says he's on Raw.
But I know, because the WWE just released today that he's gonna have the KO show on SmackDown tomorrow. Okay, on the WWE.com he's listed on SmackDown. So maybe they're drafting him early.
Yeah, well, spoilers. In terms of people on Raw that I think fit better on SmackDown, as I'm looking at the roster here, the main one that jumped out to me, not that it fits better, that I would like to see it, would be Aleister Black moving from Raw to SmackDown. Just because I think SmackDown would have more room for him to do stuff than Raw does. I could see him being in a feud with, for the IC title, something along those lines. And if we're talking female wrestlers that I want to see moved, I would like to see Bianca Belair on SmackDown.
Okay. Okay. So here we go. I pulled up the release from WWE today. It says no one on SmackDown has been able to shake Alexa Bliss from the hold the Fiend has over her. So perhaps it's time to give someone from Raw a try. Kevin Owens will host a special edition of the KO show this Friday as part of the Brand to Brand Invitational. So you guys are right. Devin, you were right that Kevin Owens is a part of Monday Night Raw. That is my bet, because I had just seen that today. And so that's why I was like, wait a minute. I thought he is on SmackDown. But no, he is a part of Monday Night Raw. Devin would like to see him move to SmackDown. Oh, yeah, because he was just involved with Alistair and the Raw Underground and all that. So, yeah.
I like Williams' choice of Sasha at NXT. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I would, as I continue to look over the roster here, I think that Ember Moon, when she comes back, would be a better fit on Raw than SmackDown. So someone make that happen.
Yes, I agree. Intern Mark, how about you?
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing the Undisputed Era. Initially, I would think they would be better suited on Raw, but with Retribution, maybe they're better off on SmackDown. Eventually maybe the Hurt Business versus the Undisputed Era would be something. And well, I was thinking Cesaro and Shinsuke maybe on Raw too would be an interesting trade to mix things up, and then put the Street Profits over on SmackDown.
Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? I would definitely like to see the Undisputed Era to come up to either Raw or SmackDown. And I think, again, given that you kind of need to give Monday Night Raw a little extra star power, a little bit different feel, I think them going to Monday Night Raw could be pretty solid for them. As far as the women go, I mean, I don't think Raw could afford to lose Bianca Belair. I think that was a great call by you, Matt. But I think the women's division on SmackDown from a single standpoint feels so much stronger. I think they're trying to do a lot of tag team stuff with the women on Raw, but I feel like the problem is you just don't have enough women at your disposal, and you broke up the biggest women's tag team that you have on Monday Night Raw with the two Conics splitting up. But I mean, and I think seeing Io Shirai move to either Raw or SmackDown would be fantastic, because I think any time you can get the women's wrestling featured as much as possible, and they've been absolutely killing it as of late, the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I mean, obviously we have 1 week of TV, tomorrow night SmackDown and Monday Night Raw before the draft starts next Friday night. So if there's any like preemptive moves or anything like that, we will obviously talk about them next week. Devin says, I think we're going to see the U.S. and Intercontinental title switch brands. You can call me out if I was wrong. I have a gut feeling. I feel like you not every year, because then it would become too predictable, but I feel like you do see titles switch brands every so often when you do these drafts. I honestly think, and I'm probably going to be wrong on this, that you could almost merge the U.S. and Intercontinental title, have them defended across brands. Same with the tag titles. You're in an era where, for obvious reasons, there's limited depth to the roster. So having so many individual titles on both brands doesn't kind of make a lot of sense at this point. So to me, I think that one of the best course of actions. But yeah, I think something like that, and the only way to do it would be the IC and the US title. But do you guys? So then you would almost have to move the entire Hurt Business, I would say, to SmackDown. But do you guys see that as a possibility?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible. It would be cool if it happened. But again, cautious optimism, as always.
Lou says,
I think it's a little too early to. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Oh no, go ahead. You can finish because Lou has a kind of a follow-up question.
Okay, I was just gonna say I think it's a little too early to do the Hurt business. They're really starting to get some traction and make a name for themselves as a group. So I think it'd be silly to move them or even split them up at this point.
Well, especially because there's the the battle with the rumored COVID positive retribution that's still coming down the line. Lou says, would you guys want to see one world champion like the old days? I would have no problem with it. I mean, I think having a brand specific champion isn't necessarily a bad thing because it does give members of each brand kind of something to fight for. But if you just had say it was Drew McIntyre, you unify the US title and the WWE title, or Roman Reigns, and they can be on both brands and fight people from both brands. But I think too sometimes then you almost run the risk of, not that things aren't confusing at times as they are, but do you want to have the champion on both shows all the time? And if not, which show gets slighted? Which one gets slighted more than others? Do you do it like 1 month on, 1 month off, where September he's competing on the SmackDown side, in October he's on the Raw side, and back and forth and back and forth? So while having one champion or one roster is ideal when you have the luxury of riches that the WWE does, I think you can get away with having two champions.
You can. I mean, I never really minded when they used to have it back when it was the WWE champion and then the world heavyweight champion. Doing it that way as opposed to the Raw versus SmackDown championships. So, I mean, it kind of makes that hunt all inclusive because you never know who's going to, be in the title picture. But breaking it down the way they do is probably what's best if we want to see more wrestlers get more opportunity. So it's kind of that double-edged sword. It's really cool to have the one title with Chase, but then what happens to anyone not in the title picture? They don't put as much emphasis these days like they used to on the IC title, on the European, now US title, the secondary titles like that, the 24/7 title and the hardcore title being the same thing pretty much. So we wouldn't see, those feuds built the way they are if we kind of narrowed it down like that, unfortunately.
Mark, any thoughts?
On the world titles, I'll tell you, at first when they had, I think it was Lesnar was the champion, kind of going back and forth in the early 2000s when they did that brand split for the first time. I kind of enjoyed it, but then after a while it was kind of not so much, but it did make the belt feel very special. So I'm okay with them keeping the Universal and World Champion, and even the IC belt and the US title. It'd be nice to have maybe a unification match at WrestleMania, and then defend them individually, so someone potentially could take the US belt and the champion could still have the IC belt, or vice versa. But I'm okay with the two champions, one on each brand. Every once in a while, it'd be nice to have them wrestle, just to see who the winner would be.
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?